The crystalline halls of the Zarathi diplomatic vessel gleamed with an otherworldly luminescence as Leo adjusted his formal Earth ambassador uniform. 3 months into humanity's first major intergalactic peace summit, and he still wasn't used to the way the alien architecture seemed to pulse with living light. "Ambassador Chen," a melodious voice called out. Leo turned to see Mia approaching, her movements graceful despite the lower gravity. As Earth's youngest cultural liaison at 23, she had proven invaluable in navigating the complex social dynamics of the various alien species. "Just Leo, please," he reminded her with a smile. "We're off duty." Mia grinned, her eyes sparkling with the same enthusiasm that had gotten her selected for this historic mission. "Did you hear? The Zarathi High Chancellor wants to meet with us privately. Something about a cultural exchange of great importance." Leo nodded, though privately he felt a flutter of concern. The Zarathi were known for their rigid social protocols and their protective nature regarding their offspring. One wrong move could derail months of careful negotiation. An hour later, they stood before High Chancellor Vexara, whose iridescent scales shifted from deep purple to silver as Xi spoke. Beside Zem stood what Leo assumed was Zir daughter, a smaller Zarathi, whose scales held an almost translucent quality, catching and refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. "Humans," Vexara began, Sir Forearms gesturing in what Leo had learned was a formal greeting. "This is my daughter, Liriana. She has reached the age of bonding preparation." Leo and Mia exchanged quick glances. They had studied Zarathi customs extensively, but bonding preparation was still somewhat mysterious to human anthropologists. "We are honored by this introduction," Leo replied carefully, offering the appropriate hand gesture of respect. Vexara's large, multifaceted eyes focused on Leo, with an intensity that made him want to step back. "Our species bonds through touch. Physical contact creates empathic connections that last lifetimes. It is how we choose mates, form alliances, and build trust." The young Zarathi, Liriana, stepped forward. Her movements were hesitant, almost shy, and her scales flickered with what Leo had learned indicated nervousness in their species. "I have been observing your kind," Liriana said, her voice like wind chimes. "You are different from the other species we have encountered. There's something about humans that intrigues me." Vexara's scales darkened, a sign of protectiveness. "My daughter wishes to understand human connection. She has requested to experience your species' form of touch bonding." Se paused, and when Se spoke again, there was an edge to Se's voice. "Yet I have noticed, Ambassador Chen, that you maintain careful distance from her. Why don't you touch my daughter, human?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Leo could feel the tension radiating from the High Chancellor, could see how other Zarathi in the room had stopped their activities to watch this exchange. Mia stood perfectly still beside him, understanding the delicate nature of this moment. Leo took a measured breath, choosing his words with the same care he would use to defuse a bomb. "High Chancellor Vexara, your daughter radiates a purity of spirit that even we humans, with our limited empathic abilities, can perceive." He paused, noting how Vexara's scales shifted to a lighter hue, curiosity replacing suspicion. "In human culture," Leo continued, "we have a concept called innocence. It is something we consider sacred, something to be protected and cherished, not touched without the deepest reverence and proper context. Your daughter, Liriana, possesses this quality in abundance. She is, as we would say, too pure." Liriana's scales flickered with interest. "Too pure?" But purity in Zarathi culture invites connection, not distance. Mia stepped forward slightly, her voice gentle. "Perhaps that's what makes humans unique among the galaxy's species. We see purity, and our first instinct is not to claim it, but to guard it. We believe that some things are so precious that they must be approached only when the time is right, when understanding is complete, when both parties have grown into readiness." "You see," Leo added, meeting Vexara's gaze steadily, "for humans, the highest form of respect is sometimes not to touch at all. We have a saying, the most beautiful flowers are often admired from a distance lest our touch damage their delicate petals." The room fell silent. Leo could see the Zarathi processing this alien concept, their scales shifting through spectrums of color as they communicated silently among themselves. Finally, Vexara spoke, Xir voice filled with something Leo had never heard from the High Chancellor before: wonder. "You would deny yourself the pleasure of connection to protect what you perceive as pure. Without hesitation, Leo replied firmly. It's not denial, High Chancellor. It's reverence. Your daughter's first touch bond should be with someone who understands fully what that means in your culture, who can honor it properly. As an ambassador of Earth, I represent all of humanity. Any action I take reflects on my entire species. To touch your daughter without absolute certainty that I could honor your customs would be the highest disrespect. Liriana's scales had taken on a soft golden hue, awe, if Leo's studies were correct. You protect me from yourself, she whispered. Even though protection means distance, even though distance means never knowing the full truth of each other. Sometimes, Mia said softly, the greatest connections are formed not through touch, but through the choice not to touch. Through understanding boundaries, through respect that transcends physical contact. Vexara's forearms spread wide, a gesture of profound respect among the Zerathi. Humans, Xi declared, Xer voice carrying to every corner of the crystalline hall. You have shown us something we had not considered, that there exists a form of protection born not from strength or possession, but from restraint. That purity can be honored through distance. The High Chancellor's scales shifted to deep blue, the color of formal acknowledgement. You have passed a test you did not know you were taking. Many species have stood where you stand. All reached out to touch, to claim, to bond without understanding. You alone stepped back. Leo felt a wave of relief, though he kept his expression neutral. We are still learning your ways, High Chancellor. But one thing humans understand deeply is that the most profound connections often require patience, time, and mutual understanding. Indeed, Vexara replied, and perhaps that is why, of all the species we have encountered, humans alone might be worthy of true alliance. You guard what others would grab. You honor what others would use. As the formal meeting concluded and they walked back through the luminous corridors, Mia touched Leo's shoulder gently. That was brilliant, she said. You turned what could have been an insult into the deepest compliment. Leo smiled, though his mind was still processing the encounter. I meant every word. There was something about her, an innocence that transcended species. In all our travels among the stars, sometimes the most alien thing we can do is be deeply human. Through the transparent walls of the ship, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance, and Leo thought about how humanity's greatest strength might not be their technology or their adaptability, but their capacity to recognize the sacred in others and to protect it, even from themselves. The alliance with the Zerathi was formally signed the next day, with unprecedented terms of mutual respect and cultural exchange, and in the annals of galactic history, it would be remembered not as the day humans proved their strength or their intelligence, but as the day they proved something far rarer in the cosmos, their reverence for innocence no matter what form it took.